We struggled at times, really on both ends of the floor. I felt like we couldn't really put together consistent stops, and then I thought we couldn't put together consistent offensive possessions. It was almost as if we were forgetting what we're supposed to be doing. We were forgetting our job. It was like we were asleep at different times in the game, and then decided to wake up with about 2 minutes to go and try to make a run at it, and had a possession there, and really a wasted last possession. Didn't We had the timeout? They gave it to us. We drew up an action there to try to get something at the basket, but have some screening action away from the basket if a three was open to take. And we never got into that. We never got organized on that last possession. But I just felt, going into the game, when you look at the game from Friday, we dominated points in the paint. We shot a lot of free throws and obviously didn't dominate the paint, and they won the free throw margin. And then, 8 assists and 15 turnovers is unacceptable, especially when we had 16 assists and 7 turnovers the other day. And I thought it was just mental lapses at times. So we got to grow from this. We got to get better. It's all new. It's all different in terms of, waking up on the day of the game, getting on a bus at 8:00 in the morning, trying to get yourself engaged and ready to play, pulling into an arena, getting off the bus and going. I mean, these guys are used to it because what they did in high school and prep school, and we got to be much, much better with the circumstances that are put in front of us.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open it up for questions. Dan McGee.
Hey, Coach. What do you think Northeastern really did differently to cover Trey Mitchell in this one?
Well, I thought they were extremely physical with him. I thought, his post-ups on the block, he was constantly getting pushed and shoved and getting pushed off the block. I thought anytime he was on his way to the basket, he felt a presence. He felt a body, if not touching him, if not chucking him, hitting him. And that can wear you down throughout the course of the game when teams are being that physical with him. Anytime he was on the block, he was getting pushed off the block. I thought their physicality up front was a lot more present this game than it was on Friday.
Rich Thompson.
Hi, Matt. In the past, you had November basketball to play 5 or 6 games, kind of build into league play. What can you take from this small sampling going into LaSalle next on the 16th?
Well, I think obviously being in a tight game down the stretch, having more poise on the last possession, understanding, I don't care if there's fans or no fans, it's not easy to win on the road. Coming into this game, where was our mindset at in terms of, it's hard to beat a team twice back to back. And we talked a lot about that yesterday, but you got to go through some of these experiences to understand that. I felt like we just looked fatigued a lot throughout the game. Probably should have done a much better job subbing and getting different rotations and different combinations in there. That's something that we'll look at on the tape. But I thought we were a little fatigued out there, but we're not going to make excuses on a 19-day quarantine and all those things. We've got to be better. And I think the being in the close games, that's what we want to be in. And those types of situations prepare us for A10 play, because I think we'll be in a lot of close games.
Frederick.
Hey, Coach. Kind of seemed like the first 10 minutes of the game kind of went back and forth. Both teams were kind of struggling to get into a rhythm. Just curious what you thought of that and just kind of your take on the beginning of the game.
Frederick, I made a big deal yesterday about the number of passes and our offensive efficiency rating. When we have 3 or more passes in a possession, I believe on Friday was something like 1.08 or 1.10, which would be one of the better ratings in the country in terms of your offense. And we especially early in the game, the ball has to move more. The ball's got to change sides of the floor more. You got to loosen up their defense, and it's just too much one-pass shot. I put a stat up there yesterday too. On Friday, when we had one-pass shots or no-pass shots, our offensive efficiency rating was 0.83, which would be worst in the country. So, we can't, especially early. Thought we forced some shots. I thought we were taking too many quick shots. The ball's got to change sides of the floor more. We got to get more movement, and we just can't come down and one pass, turn a pick and roll down and crank. We got to be better there.
Question from Howard.
Yeah, Matt, I was just wondering if this was, back-to-back good performances from Javon. Can you just talk about what, his improvement from game 1 to game 2?
Yeah, if I was going to be critical of him and Noah, our 2 point guards, 4 assists and 8 turnovers tonight. We got to get better production from that. We need a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio from those guys. I think those guys understand that. We're going to continue to stay on Javon. We're going to continue to push him and coach him hard. And him being able to bring it every single day and every single possession. But for him, the last 2 games outside of the turnovers today, to be able to do what he's done in the first 2 games of his career, that's the expectation we had of him coming in. We knew how good he was, and he's got to continue to build and grow and get better.
Question from Milton.
Hey, Coach. I was curious what you can you hear me okay?
A little muffly.
Okay. Sorry. I'll try and speak up a little bit. Can you talk about the intensity and the effectiveness of the press on Friday as compared to today?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be, I kept making reference during the game. I kept pointing down to their bench and timeouts. I thought their bench had unbelievable energy the whole game, from the coaching staff to the managers to the players. You could just see, they were providing great energy there throughout the whole game. And when you're a pressing team, you got to have your entire team into it. And, I don't know if fatigue was a factor. I don't know what that, what it was, but, fatigue can't be a factor because we were good in it late in the game. We got some steals and it got us back into the game. You just got to get off the bus ready to play, and I think that was the biggest issue there. I think we forced some turnovers early. But we didn't get many takeaways. We didn't get many steals, and we just got to be better at it. It's game 2. We got a lot of room to improve, to grow, to get better, and that's an area that's a style that we want to play. If you look at it on Friday, we had 20 more shot attempts than they did, and a lot of that has to do with our style. And if you have 20 more shot attempts than the other team, it's going to be pretty hard for you to lose that game, right? And today, you look at the numbers, we only had 8 more shot attempts than they did. And they shot a higher percentage from the field than we did. They shot 44% for the game. We shot 41. So, those 8 shot attempts, that's not enough if we're not going to shoot a higher percentage.
Question from Michaela.
Coach, in the second half, they came out defensively. They really got you guys out of what you guys were doing well in the first half. Can you just talk about how they were able to get you guys out of your rhythm early in the second half?
Again, I think that we had more mental lapses than anything. Forgetting our action. I thought, watching us run offense on Friday, we knew what we were doing. We knew how we wanted the floor to move. We knew our actions. I could call a play. We'd get right to it. And today we were just a step slow and getting into offense. You got to give them credit. I thought they were physical. They did a better job jamming up the wings and not allowing wing entries. But still, I just thought our guys were much more forgetful today than we were on Friday in terms of what we were trying to do, what we had success doing, and how we needed to attack them.
Question from Eamon.
Hey, one thing about today is Northeastern had 9 more free throw attempts than you guys did. Do you want to see your team get a little more aggressive than how you guys were today?
Yeah, I thought that was a big stat. I thought Trey was getting fouled more than it was getting called in the game. I really did. When you go down there and you try to post up and there's 2 hands in your back and you're getting dislodged and chucked, I don't see how that's not a foul. Javon got fouled a lot the other day, getting in the lane, getting to the rim. He shot 6 free throws today. He had some more and ones. I thought we pulled up short on some finishes too. Carl shot a floater there late where maybe he could have gotten all the way in there and finished the layup. But yeah, I think the free throw margin and the turnover margin, I think free throw margin, rebound margin, and turnover margin are three really, really big stats. We lost the free throw margin. We definitely lost the turnover margin, and we tied on the rebounds. So if you can win 2 out of the 3 of those stats, you're probably going to have a lot of success and win a basketball game. And we lost 2 out of those 3.
All right, we got time for just a few more questions here. Joe, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. TJ kind of struggled in the first game shooting. He bounced back in a better way today, especially at the end of the game. Can you just talk about how he played today?
Yeah, I thought everybody was struggling offensively in the first half. I thought he took one there that he made. I thought he took a couple other ones, but then he kind of bounced back. And TJ's been in the gym the last 2 days at 7 a.m. TJ is growing and maturing with his work ethic. We need to find more minutes from him because, he not only scored the ball today, he was 2 for 4 from the 3-point line, but he had 6 rebounds and he only played 20 minutes. So some of these minutes for these other guys probably needs to go down, and TJ's minutes need to go up a little bit if he's gonna rebound a ball like that. I don't care if he's shooting it well or not shooting it well, as long as he's taking good shots. If he's gonna rebound a ball at that kind of clip, he needs to be out there a little bit more. I've been proud of him with his approach, starting, not starting, coming off the bench. He doesn't care. He's supposed to win, and can you say that, can you look yourself in the mirror as a competitor and say, hey, man, I'd be okay with coming off the bench as long as we're winning? And that's TJ's mindset and mentality, and that just shows you his maturity level.
All right, final question here from Kyle.
So obviously not the same offensive game from Trey today, but what was he in terms of your guys' defensive anchor? Because it seemed like he was just really back there guiding things and making things really difficult for them at the rim, whether he was blocking it or just altering stuff.
I mean, Trey's one of the smartest players on the team. Offensively, defensively, he knows where he's supposed to go. He knows where he's supposed to be. And the most important thing about Trey is he wants to win. And when you're playing against teams that are being as physical as they are with him and bodying him and hitting him and pounding on him as much as he is, and then he's got to go back down on the other end and guard pick and rolls and rebound the basketball. I mean, he has, 8 rebounds today. That's a lot on your 5-man, and you got to give Trey a lot of credit. I know some of those baskets coming down the stretch, he probably wanted to put in there, but when you're getting physically hit as much as he does, it can be fatiguing.